Hi guys, this is Paige from Paperbacks and Lattes, and I'm going to be talking about all the books that I read in February. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys have had a good reading month in February. I know I did not quite as well as January. I didn't get quite as many read, but it is a shorter month and it just seemed like we were super busy. But even though we were busy, I still got 20 books total read in February. So not too shabby. I also did a readathon in February, the Contemporaryathon round 6. I won't go quite into detail in those books. You can go watch my wrap-up of those books that I read in Contemporaryathon. I will leave the link to the video down below, but I will go over them briefly in today's video. So the very first book that I read in February was Wasted Words by Staci Hart. This was a free book that I got from Amazon. This book I rated 4 stars because it wasn't quite a 5-star read for me. The heroine kind of got on my nerves. She was very different from the hero and she just harped on that constantly. Pretty much the whole book. She just harped on how they couldn't work together because of they like different things. They were very different. Starts off that they are actually roommates and they're friends. They don't even, he kind of has feelings towards her, but she has just made it known over and over and over that they're just friends, and she kind of plays matchmaker for everybody else but her. She kind of doesn't realize in her own life that she and him work well together. Once it's made known to her that maybe she does have feelings for him or maybe he has feelings for her, they try to start a relationship and her brain just keeps getting in the way from them working together. So that was just really irritating, that so much of the book was her just thinking about how they wouldn't work because they're so different. So that was a little irritating. So that's why instead of it being a 5-star read, it is a 4-star read. The next book I read was a novella in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. It is called Aftershocks by Dixon. It was just a short story between books because in the Ice Planet Barbarian series, they had an earthquake that totally destroyed their home, and this novella was just a little follow-up story to see how some of the individual couples were dealing with the aftershocks of the earthquake and from losing their home. The next 3 books I read were all in the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Dixon. I kind of was on a Dixon binge in February. I read a lot of her books, a lot in the Ice Planet Barbarian series. I just have got sucked into the world and I just wanted to keep on reading each book. And there's, I think, 17 out right now, not counting novellas. I just kind of got on a Dixon book binge in February. The first book was Barbarian's Taming. It was between the alien Hassan and the human girl Maddie. If you've watched my previous January wrap-up, you'll know that I have started reading the Ice Planet Barbarian series. So I explained more in that video what the series is kind of about, but briefly putting it, it is about human girls that are kidnapped by one type of alien, and then they meet another type of alien after they crash onto this ice planet, and they have to have a parasite injected in them to be able to live on this planet because it has poisonous gases, and the parasite or the Kui chooses who everybody mates to. So in this particular book, Hassan and Maddie they both feel like outsiders. Maddie is just new to the ice planet and everybody has a mate except for her, and so she just feels like an outsider. She doesn't really feel like she fits in, and Hassan also feels the same way because he is actually exiled because he actually stole Maddie's sister In the previous book, he was very determined to find a mate, and so he was hoping that if he just got one of the human girls off by himself, that they could resonate. But it ended up them not resonating, but he actually resonated to her sister Maddie, and this is Maddie and Hassan's book. The next book is Barbarian's Hart. It follows the couple Staci and Pashov. Staci is a human girl and Pashov is the alien. They are one of the very first couples that were mated from the very beginning. But when the earthquake hit their home, Pashov was actually injured in the earthquake. He was trapped under rock and he had a very grave brain injury, and he has since recovered from the injury, but he lost all of his memories of all the human girls arriving, so he doesn't remember his mate or his son. This book is their story of them reconnecting, relearning each other. She remembers, she has all the memories of them being a mate, being a couple, and it really hurts and bothers her that he doesn't remember her. And so this is the story about them coming back together as a couple and learning each other all over again. The next book is Barbarian's Choice. It is about Farley, and she's actually an alien girl that has come of age, and she has been wondering when she will be mated. There is an alien ship that touches down on the ice planet. Something is wrong with the ship, and so the mechanic gets out of the ship to fix the problem, and Farley actually discovers him, and of course she resonates to him immediately. He has no idea. He is of the same race as she is, the same type of alien, but they come from the homeland. But he doesn't want to stay. He wants to take her back to the homeland. This is their story, and her and him having to decide who will stay and who will go if they want to be together. The next book I read is Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. This was a very sad but very romantic book. I consider it very romantic because Hopeless is about a girl and a guy who meet. He thinks she is someone, but she says, no, I'm not. And she actually shows him her ID and everything. They sort of become friends, and she learns something through him about herself that her mind has just pushed away. She doesn't remember anything from when she was young. She has very few memories, and so something happens where she finds out this huge thing about herself. She deals with a lot of hard-hitting things, and he is just there through it all with her, helping her because he loves her so much, and a lot of him feels guilty from what happened to her in her past. It's a very hard-hitting book, but very emotional, but also really, really good. And I really enjoyed this book, as I do all Colleen Hoover books. The next book I read is Barbarian's Redemption by Ruby Dixon. It is about Beck and Ellie. There's no more human girls, so Beck strikes a deal with the other aliens that had came previously from their broken down spaceship, and when they get it fixed and they're leaving, he strikes a deal with them to bring back 5 more human girls that are slaves to the other aliens. So they go and bring back 5 more human girls, and he is in big trouble because he didn't tell anybody except for 2 of the other aliens who they're kind of all in on the secret, and he is actually shunned from the group until he understands what he did wrong, and he resonates to one of the girls, Ellie, and it is their love story. She's very damaged. She's been a slave for 10 years, and she's just been treated very cruelly, and it takes her a long time to trust him, but once she does, he's really the only one she does trust. So their love story is very sweet, and I really enjoyed their story. The next few books are books I read for Contemporaryathon. The first one is Eleanor in Grey by Brittainy C. Cherry. I rated it 5 stars. The second one is Disgrace by Brittainy C. Cherry. I rated it 5 stars. The third one is Blindsided by Finley. I also rated it 5 stars. The fourth one is November 9 by Colleen Hoover, and I rated it 5 stars. And then I read half of this book for Contemporaryathon. I didn't get quite all of it finished before Contemporaryathon ran out, but it is Savage by Mia Sheridan, and I also rated it 5 stars. If you want to see my reviews on these books, go check out my Contemporaryathon Wrap-up video. The next book I read was Hattrick by Finley. It is book 5 in the Fake Boyfriend series. I greatly enjoyed the series. It is all male-male romances, and they're all high-profile celebrities in some sort of way. Most of them are athletes or journalists, or one's a musician. And in this particular book, this is about Soren and Jet. Soren is a hockey player and Jet is a musician for a very famous band, and it is their love story, and it was very sweet, very emotional. All these books show what they have to go through to be with each other, and it is just really hard-hitting at times and just very sweet, and I love this whole series, and I highly recommend them. And the next 5 books are continuing on in the Ice Planet Barbarian series by Dixon. Next one is Barbarian's Lady, and this story revolves around Herrick and Kate. Kate and Herrick. Herrick is just the goofball alien. He just jokes all the time, and it gets on Kate's nerves because he kind of jokes about her insecurities, and he doesn't really realize that she is insecure about it. So of course she doesn't like him, and he likes her, but she won't give him the time of day. And then he convinces her while they're on a journey to take a shortcut, and that shortcut really ended up not being a shortcut. It ended up with her having to save him from a nasty fall. This book was fun to read. It gave me laughs, and just it was very comical and lighthearted, and overall it was just a really great book to read. The next book is Barbarians Rescue. This is between Summer and Warwick. They were with the other group of aliens and human girls, but they ventured off to the fruit cave to go pick fruit for everybody. They see another alien ship come down, and it was the one that had previously come before, but it's been overtaken by other aliens, and they kidnapped all of their friends, all the other aliens and the human girls. So they have to go rescue everybody, and Warwick is a super quiet guy, and Summer is somebody that can't shut up. She just babbles and babbles and babbles, especially when she's nervous. She just talks to fill the silence. And so it is their story of how they rescue everybody and how they come to love each other, and it was a cute story. The next book is Barbarians Tease, but this is Brooke and Toshin's story. Brooke and Toshin were part of the group that was kidnapped by the aliens. They had one steamy night when the aliens forced them to be together, and then they kind of part ways. But Toshin is really grumpy towards Brooke because he expects them to now be mated since they had that night together. But of course, Brooke doesn't feel that way. They have to understand why each other feels the way they do, and it is their story, and it was good. The next book is The Barbarian Before Christmas. This was a short story of some of the couples. This was like a holiday book of their holiday that they put together every year, and this focused on some of the couples that we've previously read about, just them all enjoying the holiday, and some are apart, and it shows them coming back together, and it was just it was a sweet short story between regular length books. The next book is Barbarians Beloved. This story focuses around Ariana and Zolea. This was actually one of the first couples from the first books. This was one of the original couples, but we never got their story until now. It starts with them present. He is separated from her because he's actually helping with the new arrivals. There have been some new arrivals of more humans and other types of creatures. It focuses on Ariana. She has very debilitating anxiety. She struggles with it. She had anxiety on Earth, and the storyline cuts back to the past, to when they first came to the planet and how she had to deal with not having her anxiety medication or anything like that. And it shows how sweet Zolea is and how he understands, even though being a barbarian alien, he's never heard of anxiety or anything like that. He understands when she explains it to him, and it is just so sweet to see him help her through this. And he does whatever he can. It doesn't matter if anybody needs him, what's expected of him. If she needs him, she comes first before anything else. And it was just so sweet. I loved reading their story, and yeah, this was an excellent book. Now we get to the last book of the month, and I actually veered from Ice Planet Barbarians and started a new series by Ruby Dixon. This is her Dragon Blood series. I'm pretty sure that's what it's called. Some of the dragon characters show up in Barbarians Beloved. So I was curious about that series, so I started it and I really enjoyed it. I got the first book read before the end of February, and the first book is called Fire in His Blood. This story centers around Claudia. She is a human, and Kel, who is a dragon shifter. For 7 years now, the world has just collapsed because dragons came to Earth through the rift. It was an opening from the dragon world to Earth, and they came through, and they're just being on Earth caused them just to lose their minds. They don't know what they're doing, except all their minds tell them to do is destroy and kill. And so they have been killing humans. They have destroyed a lot of the Earth that they're at. They catch Claudia scavenging, which is a crime, and she is just trying to feed herself, her sister, and their friend. And so she is in jail. Choices are to exile her or to put her up as dragon bait. They chain her up onto this building, and a dragon does come for her, and it is their story of how he takes her as his mate. And it is very neat, very different, and it was just a really good story, and I am continuing on in that series. And that is it for all the books that I read in February. I hope you had a great reading month as well. Let me know what you read in February and good books that you read, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.